Hundreds of thousands of dollars were made because of St. Bonaventure's trip to the NCAA tournament. How much money are we talking? What does it mean for the university? Those answers in minutes. The buzzer sounds for basketball seniors Adrice Takei, Matt Mobley, and Jalen Adams. This morning, they reflect on their Bonaventure basketball careers and sit down in an exclusive interview. Barstool Sports, a viral social media jaw-dropper across college campuses. An in-depth look at SBU's Barstool Bonas account and a response from school officials. Facebook Under Fire revealed this week data stolen from millions. CNN's Drew Griffin gives you the facts.
He said it's too early to say exactly.
Good morning on this beautiful but cold spring morning. I'm Mariah Morrell. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Fraser Breon.
This year's NCAA tournament's total revenue is still up in the air, but the St. Bonaventure Bonnies expect to see a share of it. But how much money is coming their way, and when will we see it? SBU-TV's Bryce Betafora has the answer.
Director of Athletics Tim Kenny said it's too early to say exactly how much money the Bonnies made off this year's NCAA tournament.
It's not known yet. We won't know till probably later in the summer, the exact number that'll be coming in.
According to the NCAA, revenue is distributed through units based on team performance. The amount of this year's units, $273,000. The Atlantic 10 pays that money to Bonas over a period of 6 years.
Our 6 years from 2012 are up this year. So now we're going to go forward another 6 years with 2 units, which is good.
2 units paid out over 6 years could mean around $91,000 a year for SBU sports teams. Money that Kenny said will go towards operational costs.
Yeah, it goes for anything from equipment to travel, recruiting, referees costs, facility maintenance, all that stuff, it all goes into that.
So is $91,000 enough to turn a profit for SBU sports? Kenny says not quite.
If you add the money on top of the tickets that you get for basketball and things, it's getting close to a good point. You're not there, and most schools don't have a profit-driven if you don't have major football. But we're getting there, and that's part of our plan is to how do you keep externally doing that to try and make it so it's a break-even portion.
Bryce Betafora, SBU-TV.
SBU-TV will keep you updated once final revenue numbers become available.
The dynamic trio combined for 87 wins with the brown and white, which is the most wins from a graduating class in program history. Here's what they have to say about their Bonaventure career. Mile Capolino and Robert Barrieri have the exclusive interviews.
I think my most successful game would be Syracuse, personally, because it was a big game and everybody came out to performance, and I feel good about my performance as well.
Idris talks about his role as 3-year captain both on and off the court.
Off the court, it majority made me realize that it doesn't really matter what other people say about all of us as a core, especially individually, but as a core, that was just something that I really paid attention to. And I just figured that as long as I help everybody else, we'll come together. Obviously make it to the NCAA tournament, but that being so recent, I'd say knocking off Syracuse, that being our first goal that we set for real, or highlight. It was just honestly, I didn't expect it. It was actually joy. It was good. It was a good feeling after it, because I just being able to chop it up with everybody and actually realizing how much we had done. It was just a good feeling. The support, the opportunity to play here, just giving me a jersey. Walking in that locker room, seeing that jersey was a great feeling. So
I feel like my sit-out year, I was able to learn what Coach Schmidt wants. Watching the games. I still practiced every day, but I was able to learn the system, I feel like, and Marcus and, a couple of Dion, the other seniors taught me, all the things I should expect. So I'm real thankful for that sit-out year. Most thankful for, I got to go Coach Schmidt, obviously. He took a chance on me coming out of Central. Not many people knew me when I was transferring. And he was just saying all the things that I could accomplish here. And, it was crazy that I was able to do a lot of things that he said. So I'm thankful for him. Well, on the court, it put me in a great position to, continue to keep playing the game, try to pursue my pro career. So on the court, it did its job. And off the court, set me up with a great marketing degree that, I'll be able to use whenever the ball stops bouncing. So St. Bonaventure is a great place. Funniest moment? Oh, man, we have funny moments every day. Funniest moment? Can't even think right now. We've had too many. We've had too many. Thank you to all the fans, you know, the coaches, my teammates, students that come out every game. Thank you for everything. It's been a great 2 years, and winning traded for the world. I'm glad to become a Bonnie.
Jalen Adams slash.
Back to Jay.
Adams for three.
Adams now with 9 points.
You've heard the name. Jalen talks about what he felt going into his last season as a Bonnie.
There's a lot of emotions at first. We had a bunch of expectations going in. I wanted a little more out of that NCAA tournament run, but you know, it wasn't in the cards. So I think I left it out there though. I don't really regret nothing. Probably my freshman year, when Marcus hit that game-winner in VCU. That was one of the craziest feelings. Probably either that or that Rhode Island win. Just seeing the whole community and the fans so excited. Definitely brought a lot of joy to the team. Idris and Mo, you got to say that UCLA win. Just being a part of that and being the senior class that did it, it's got to be my best memory. Just the feelings in the locker room, on the court after the game, felt crazy. It wasn't pretty, and I think that's the kind of wins we had all year.
Beyond his coaches and himself, Jalen says his mother is his biggest critic.
She doesn't sugarcoat anything. She just kind of tells it how it is.
As Jalen moves on from his basketball career at Bonas, he has some parting words for the St. Bonaventure community.
Again, I thank you for the endless support and just kind of taking me in.
Jalen, Matt, and Idris all have hopes of being drafted or playing overseas after graduating from St. Bonaventure.
One social media platform called Barstool Sports has college students across the country checking their feeds to see what their fellow peers may be doing behind closed doors. Now, St. Bonaventure has its own affiliated account called Bonas Barstools. Our Matt Williams explains why Barstools Bonas is popular amongst college students.
Barstool Sports. Over the last 15 years, Barstool has grown from an unrecognized newspaper to one of the nation's leading sports blogs. Through all the mayhem the accounts have to offer, have you ever wondered why it's gained so much popularity amongst college campuses? CEO of Barstool, Erica Nardini, says why fans resonate so heavily with the organization.
People love us, they hate us.
Right.
But you have to respect what we've built, and we've done it because we're on the same level as our fans, and that's why they buy, and that's why they watch, and that's why they read, and that's why they listen.
Barstool does a great job of not only telling this audience how it is through blog posts and tweets, but showing its audience what exactly they want to see through videos from across the country. But while Barstool may be entertaining to some, do universities feel the same way? I spoke with Rob DeFazio, head of student conduct and residential life, to see how the creation of these accounts on campus have affected students' behavior.
You know, students that are purposely going and doing things just so they can get the attention can be extremely dangerous. And hopefully we don't see an influx of activity or students, you know, participating in those type of things.
Barstool flags like the one behind me can be found all throughout student housing. The majority of college students love Barstool because a good portion of its content is curated by fellow students. Each and every Barstool account across the nation has its own personality, and without the student effort put forward, Barstool would cease to exist. David Portnoy, the Barstool president, once said, "If you're going to be a negative Nancy about things, get out. Positive vibes only. If you're not positive, then you can leave." So if you decide to be rowdy, just make sure to be safe about it. For SBU-TV, I'm Matt Williams.
The runners of the Barstool's Bana would like to personally thank SBU students for their dedication to the growth of the account and encourages students to keep sending content because without our support, Bonas Barstools could not succeed. If you're interested in keeping up with the madness or you like to submit content, follow them on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at Barstool's Bonas.
Facebook founder CEO Mark Zuckerberg speaks out for the first time, with his company under fire at the uncomfortable intersection of big business and political controversy. CNN reporter Drew Griffin takes a deeper look.
The reason Facebook is under fire is the ease with which a researcher was able to use Facebook to harvest the personal information of tens of millions of Americans, then transfer all that personal information to a data analytics company that would eventually work for Donald Trump's campaign. That firm, Cambridge Analytica, denies any of its work on the 2016 election used the Facebook data to target voters. But Christopher Wiley, the former UK-based Cambridge Analytica employee turned whistleblower, says at the core of the company's activities was the access Facebook provided.
So we went from no data to harvesting all of this data off of Facebook and then combining it with all this the consumer data sets and voter data sets. So we had sort of a Steve Bannon and a billionaire breathing down our necks trying to go, where's the data, where's the algorithms, where's our information weapons, and that's where Kogan came along, Alexander Kogan, the professor at Cambridge.
Alexander Kogan is the Cambridge University researcher who in 2014 developed an app, a Facebook personality test called This Is Your Digital Life. 270,000 people voluntarily took the personality test. But what no one who took the test knew is that Kogan's app opened the door to all their personal information and to all of those voluntary Facebook responders' friends and their friends, and so on. Tens of millions of people. Facebook says Kogan misled them, that he was supposed to only use the data for research. Instead, he collected it and sold it. But Kogan doesn't believe he did anything wrong.
Because the reality is that our app wasn't special. It was completely commonplace. So there are thousands, if not tens of thousands of apps of doing the exact same thing.
Now the attorneys general of at least 3 states are demanding answers. Congress demanding Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg testify. Even government officials in the UK want executives from Facebook and Cambridge Analytica to explain how a research app led to the exploitation of the personal data of millions. Drew Griffin, CNN, Atlanta.
Zuckerberg said he is willing to testify before Congress to try and amend the disruptive trust. One person has been killed and others taken hostage at a supermarket in Trebes, a town in the south of France. Minister Edouard Philippe said on Twitter that information points to an act of terror. A local prosecutor said the attack appears to be ISIS-related. A BFM reporter at the scene said that hostage taker has demanded the release of Salah Abdeslam. Abdeslam is the suspected mastermind behind the deadly 2015 Paris attacks. Sources cannot confirm the demand. French Interior Minister Gerard Collomb said to avoid the area and stay tuned in instructions from authorities.
National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster resigned and will be replaced by former U.S. Ambassador and Fox News analyst John Bolton. Trump tweeted Thursday night, "I am pleased to announce that effective April 9th, John Bolton will be my new National Security Advisor. I am very thankful for the service of General H.R. McMaster, who has done an outstanding job and will always remain my friend. There will be an official contact handover on April 19th. McMaster had been on thin ice, according to sources in the White House. Bolton and Trump had been discussing for weeks now on replacing McMaster. Bolton said in an interview he will be working with McMaster during a transition period before taking over in April.
Safety in schools is the forefront of conversation since the Parkland, Florida shooting last month, especially in Olean. SBU-TV Roisin Coleman has the story.
More than 14 students have been injured, and the superintendent reports that there are numerous fatalities.
The Majori Stoneman High School shooting, sparking the Olean City School District to open up a discussion on improved school safety. School officials say there's a lot of work to be done, with the main goal to keep kids safe. Parents, students, teachers, and police officers gathered at Olean City High School Monday night to weigh in on how to make schools safer. Some of the measures mentioned included metal detectors at entrances, more safety cameras, and a big stress on mental health.
But a big push right now is mental health. Identify students or people in your community who are troubled or are going through stress, and do everything in your power to alleviate that stress.
Here's a sample letter District Superintendent Rick Moore urges the community to write to elected officials about school safety.
There is currently only one school resource officer in Olean who has the responsibility of dealing with an active shooter.
Obviously, my role is to go to this, to take care of the problem, whatever the problem is, no matter what the problem is.
The Olean police chief is looking to add another school resource officer to the district. However, school officials say this is just the beginning of a longer discussion and hope to gain more funding from the state. For SBU-TV News, I'm Roisin Coleman.
The Olean School District is looking to hold more meetings. Anyone with concerns about school safety or the forum held is asked to contact District Superintendent Rick Moore. The 4th annual Twin Tiers Regional Science Fair was held on Thursday on the 3rd floor of Plasman. I went to see what the kids had to offer. High school students gathered on 3rd Plasman Thursday morning to participate in the 4th annual Twin Tiers Regional Science Fair here at St. Bonaventure. Coming from 7 different schools, 37 projects were presented and judged.
Some of the schools ran their own science fair, and they sent us their top projects so they could participate in our fair.
Students explained their projects to judges who determined who the winners would be. Multiple prizes were awarded to the students.
The qualifying grad prize is they get to go to the International Science Fair that's taking place in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So they'll be competing with people from roughly about 75 different countries. That's the grand top prize. The other prizes include Amazon gift cards. We also have special awards for the kids.
Coinciding with the fair, NASA payload specialist James Powalczyk spoke in the Murphy Auditorium about human exploration of Mars. Fraser Breon, SBU-TV.
After graduating from St. Bonaventure in 2006 with a journalism and a marketing degree, pop artist Just Full filmed rock bands when she was 5 years into her career, a guitarist noticed for her artistic ability. Full of vibrant energy like her art, Jess is an uplifting artist on the rise. Her success pop art is centered around human behavior, what happens societally, and self-reflection. In order to be truly successful in your career, you have to believe in yourself, says Jess.
Being very honest with yourself about how what you're doing makes you feel, because once you get out of Bonas, it's a long life. You know, so to be doing something that you're truly unhappy with, if you have the opportunity to pull that off, I say try it. Being very honest with yourself.
Jess sold one of her biggest paintings to Peter Shapiro, a known American concert promoter. Her success in art formed skills learned at St. Bonaventure. Jess wants to be remembered as an honorable artist that did her best.
St. Bonaventure alum Christopher Albright recently returned to the university after being named New York's Teacher of the Year. Sean Mickey has a story.
As Teacher of the Year, you get to choose your path. I've chosen a path of service where I've connected with students. So I'm back here at St. Bonaventure University where I graduated in 1993.
Mr. Albrecht isn't your everyday teacher. By using his Franciscan roots learned from St. Bonaventure in the classroom and going above and beyond, Chris Albrecht was named New York State Teacher of the Year. Since winning the award, he has visited many classrooms and cities.
My next trip will be to the White House with the 56 other winners. I'm a guest of the President of the United States at the Oval Office. I will meet Mr. Trump.
Albrecht has recently been asked about school violence and failing school performances.
Every challenge can be overcome, and every success can be celebrated. But how we celebrate our successes and how we overcome our challenges really has to be done on the individual school district level. So I think a lot of power needs to be transferred from the state back to the local school district. And as much as the State Department really wants best for children, they do. The people that understand their own students best are going to be right in their own hometown.
After visiting the university, Albrecht spoke about what he saw that was unique.
It's unusual, and I hope people that see this realize how unusual this is. St. Bonaventure, I didn't see people on their cell phones. People weren't buried in their technology. There was actually a lot of noise. It was noisy and hicky. And I think that's a wonderful thing. And as I look around campus, I see people walking and talking here, which is rare in today's world.
Albrecht credits a lot of his success and values to his Franciscan education at St. Bonaventure University.
My roots in service and charity and understanding truly what it means to be a Franciscan started here. I've been able to keep that going in a public education setting and teach a life of service, not just doing a community service project of an hour or two, but really looking at the person next to you and saying, how can I serve that person? How can I be good to that person?
Sean Mickey, SBU-TV.
Albert will continue to be the Commissioner of Education Advisory Council for 5 years.
The Seneca Battalion of the Army ROTC at St. Bonaventure will be hosting its annual military ball this Saturday. SBU-TV's Ben Solnick spoke with senior cadets about experiencing their last military ball.
Chance for the seniors to kind of have one last blowout before they graduate.
As the year begins to close down, the ROTC program celebrates their annual military ball at the Daniel A. Carter Event Center. For seniors, it's their first chance to wear their new uniforms.
New Army service uniforms, our officer blues. We purchased these because we're getting ready to all go active duty or National Guard or Reserves, and we got to purchase these uniforms and get ready and used to wearing them.
For their final military ball, seniors invite their parents to come and experience the event with them.
just the seniors that get to invite their parents. But most parents want to wait until their kids are seniors anyway, just as kind of a way for them to celebrate that their kid has made it through the program. And it's kind of like their chance to finally see them in their uniform in this setting and just have a good time with the kids.
I traveled to Cadet Clancy's home to talk to his mother about how she feels about her son being in the ROTC program.
To watch him grow in these 4 years and what he's learned has just made us even more proud.
After seeing her son grow up and come through the ROTC program, I asked Mrs. Clancy about how she's going to feel on Saturday.
Well, I think it's going to be emotional, especially as a mom. Seeing him in full military uniform for the first time, I think that will take my breath away. So I'm preparing myself for that emotionally.
The Daniel A. Carter Event Center is preparing to welcome Cadet Cunningham and Cadet Clancy, along with 6 other seniors and their parents, other members of the ROTC program, and alumni themselves of the program, as they prepare to celebrate what ROTC has been able to accomplish throughout the year. I'm Ben Solnick, SBU-TV.
The event will begin at 5:30 Saturday evening. SBU-TV's Katie Terzic and Rob Barberi will bring you live coverage at the event on our social media.
St. Bonaventure Friedsam Library presents the new ID scanner, where the library collects the data of individual students using the library as resource. SBU-TV's Jocelyn Person went to find out who and why placed this new system.
Wait, what's that sound? Well, get used to hearing the new scanning system when entering the library. Students would have to use their IDs to sign in and out.
Here at the Friedsam Library, where I'm going to scan my ID, and automatically I'm signed in here. I spoke with Dr. Michael Hoffman on why they established the library scanner.
But what we want to do is build something called a data warehouse so that we can analyze that data and look for trends, right? So something we might want to look at is to say, for the students that are succeeding or doing well in class, do they use the library more than the average student? If so, does that give us data to say to students, look, you really need to be in the library more, because we've seen that library usage correlates with student success.
I also spoke with Ann Tinglin, the library director, who shared other depth information on the data they tend to collect.
Definitely an advantage to be able to tell, you know, who's here, not by name, but more just, it's going to be aggregated by like a D number. So we're going to have an idea of like, how many repeat visitors do we have? How long on average do people stay? How many times do people come back? More than once in a day. And it's going to give us some rich data on how the library as a place is being used by today's student.
Jocelyn Person, SBU-TV.
According to Dr. Michael Hoffman and Ann Tenglund, the ID scanner will be established over this fall.
Fantasy sports and gambling has taken a life of its own. Is there a possibility that New York will join Nevada and maybe other states as well? Our reporter Nicholas Gallo got us a closer look at what is happening under the money flow.
Sports gambling is on the rise as there is a potential bill proposed to the Supreme Court to legalize gambling in New York. This has been a boxing match as both legal teams have been fighting back and forth to pass the bill. I did some more traveling to find out more answers of what's going to happen and what is going on in the state of New York.
I'm currently standing in Batavia, New York, right in front of the Batavia Downs Casino, where I'm about to go speak to the CEO and Vice President Henry Rotasic about the potential legalizations of sports gambling in this current state.
If you look at all the studies, I mean, there is sports betting going on whether people want to admit it or not, and there's a lot of sports betting going on.
Henry Rotasic has been working as CEO for the past 2 years and notices the impact sports gambling has made.
For instance, where it's legal, or in the state of Nevada where it's legal, they probably see about $5 billion with a B bet every year on sports.
According to the UNLV Center for Gaming Research, $81.9 billion were betted on sports in Nevada from 1984 to 2017.
The only one that has a straight single game sports betting is Nevada. The other ones have sort of a lottery system or multiple games that you have to bet on at one time. But what it did, it prevented the rest of the states.
Wojciech has a strong belief of what the outcome is going to be in the end.
Sports betting is going to be reviewed very closely. My belief is that it will be allowed at the federal level very shortly, within a month most likely.
This is SBU-TV reporter Nick Gallo signing off.
According to the American Gaming Association, $10 billion was gambled on March Madness this year, and 97% was illegal. The next Supreme Court ruling will be on April 2nd.
Thank you for joining us this morning. That's it for today, folks. For SBU-TV, I'm Fraser Breon.
And I'm Mariah Marrero. Be sure to watch our social media for live updates for our news team as they head down to DC for the March of their lives. Have a fantastic and safe weekend.